how comfortable were you with feeling vulnerable?
Oh, not at all prior to my stroke. I would avoid being vulnerable at all costs. I would avoid being dependent on anyone else. I always wanted to not have to be dependent on other people and be the one that everyone else could depend on. And so it was a very strange situation, to be in, where I needed to be dependent on others. And it was, because of my wife, that I was able to, sort of open up and be vulnerable and be comfortable with that. And and it was a great lesson to learn. A lot of physical therapy, you spend a lot of time looking at yourself in the mirror to look for symmetry. But what you can also see some days, what I would see is a person who is a shell of what I used to be. I have a walker, and this therapist is going to, take me around the hospital floor that I was on to, get started. And so we just decided to walk around. We're going to walk around this floor and kind of a circle, oval, and back to the room. And while I was doing it, he's coaching me because I'm dragging my foot. I'm not, I can't, he's coaching me on what to do, basically how to walk, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And as he's coaching me and I'm listening to what he's saying and I'm trying to then duplicate those things, I can feel myself immediately. And you wouldn't be able to see a difference, but I can feel the difference as I'm trying. No different than what coach was teaching me and, explaining to me on the track every day. Okay, Michael, you need to do this. Okay, got it. I can do that. Next rep, I'm doing that, And so that's what was happening. So I could feel that improvement. And when we got back around, completed this oval and back to the room, I looked back and I thought that was probably about 200 meters. And I looked and I was like, and that took me about 10 minutes. I recognized very early in the recovery process that this is familiar territory to me. When, you have to be able to recognize the tiniest bits of improvement to keep you going. When you have to, deal with, going through an entire day of training, really rigorous training, and feeling like you got worse, but still being able to then come back the next day, for more punishment and believe that it's going to get better. That's what I dealt with as an athlete. And that's certainly what I was dealing with as a stroke victim and trying to recover. And there's no greater motivation than wanting to not have to be dependent on people and be a burden on people because you can't walk, and wanting to get back to, the sort of livelihood that I had before.